Welcome to the 3BA podcast, where bourbon boners and being awesome isn't just a catchy tagline, but categories in which we discuss different topics every single day. My name is Garrett, and I'm going to be your host along this unique journey through the bourbon and whiskey craze, men's health, and everything that life throws at you in between. On today's episode, it's going to be a combination of a couple things. We're wrapping up our first week here on 3BA. It has been a wild ride, ups and downs, challenges, lots of challenges, learning experiences, figuring things out, technology, just a culmination of a little bit of everything. I wanted to take some time to talk about what the being awesome part of this, the second part of the week, is going to be about, mainly down the road. Also kind of highlight some things in my own life and specifically having to do with the 3BA podcast that I've learned very quickly throughout this process, throughout this very first week even, that I can pass along to you. Not that you're going to start a podcast, but at least it's just something that I can bring back to the masses and kind of relate to the whole being awesome aspect of this podcast. That being said, for those of you who've made it through the very first week, thank you. We love that you're here. We're so happy that you've we'll call it suffered through. I don't think suffered. You've made it through. You've worked your way through from the first episode where we kind of told you about us and what we were doing to where we are now, one full week later, 7 episodes, and we've learned a lot. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the podcasting and vlogging world, I am going to let you in on a little secret. It's not as easy as buying a camera and a microphone and recording some audio and some video. I wish it were that easy. Without telling you the ins and outs and going into boring details, let me just jump right to it. It's difficult. It's tough. This is not for the people who are in it halfway. I started this podcast. I started with an idea. My counterpart Johnny, who you met earlier this week, who's doing all the behind the scenes work and some of the social media, and heck, he's even been on a couple episodes. He and I have found out very, very quickly that there's a lot to learn, and we've learned it in a very short period of time. Everything from audio challenges to video challenges to lining up audio and video together. It sounds simplistic. It is not. I'll be the first to admit that I had an idea. I had some expectations that were a little lofty. And that brings me to what I wanted to talk about today. Today's about being awesome. So I'm going to be positive, and I'm just going to tell you that along with being awesome comes a lot of other responsibilities. And those responsibilities are, you have to continue to be awesome. You can't just pick and choose when to be awesome. Now, I know that's kind of cheesy. Again, you're going to find out on this podcast I'm cheesy a lot. But being awesome, you have to try to be awesome. Maintain your level of awesomeness throughout your entire life, throughout your entire daily activities, throughout your entire routine, throughout your entire relationship, both with friends, family, loved ones. You have to try to maintain that level of awesomeness. Now, take that for what it's worth. It's not always easy. Are you always going to be awesome? No, I'm not always awesome. Sometimes there are some challenges in your life, and you have to overcome them. That being said, you always have to manage your expectations. And I'm fortunate to have other people in my life to help me manage my expectations. And I don't mean that negatively. I'm purely saying that for those of you out there who are maybe struggling with not having enough time in your day, or something as simple as getting up and going and working out, or getting up in the morning and just brushing your teeth. I don't know. There are a lot of struggles that we overcome every single day. I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate. And I want to tell you out there that you're fortunate too. I'm sure you have somebody, and if you don't, you now have me to tell you that you're going to be all right. It's going to be okay. It's going to work out the way that it's supposed to. That is a struggle that I've had to deal with throughout many aspects of my life, and more specifically now today talking to you. A podcast. The podcast is something that I have taken on. I wanted to share my ideas with the world, if you will, with you, the listener, the watcher, and with some people in my life that I think would provide you with information that's useful, sometimes entertaining. Hopefully we accomplish that. As time goes on, it's going to evolve, it's going to grow. We want it to do that. Sometimes it's not as fast as we would like it to be. That being said, more specifically, managing expectations. I just mentioned it. I'm gonna hit the nail head on here. Sometimes your expectations need to be altered. And I was made aware of that. Not just by anybody in particular. I'm saying in my own consciousness, I was made aware that you have to sometimes reevaluate your timelines, your expectations of other people, meaning possibly getting somebody to come and talk with you, or having, the right technology to accomplish a goal. Those of you who don't know, we would like to have multiple camera angles so you can see both sides of my face, I guess, or other hosts while we're on here. Just getting the right lens for a camera, believe it or not, was not easy. We can talk about supply chain and economy all day, but even getting a lens is tough sometimes. Battery issues. I know you're thinking just go buy another battery. Battery issues. It's ridiculous. That being said, you don't know what you don't know. Again, the cheese. Sprinkle that cheese on there. You don't know what you don't know. You can only control what you can control. You've heard that before. That is something I personally struggle with on a daily basis. I can only do so much. You can only do so much. Control what you can control. With that in mind, the positive side to this is starting a podcast from scratch allows me to help you. So if you're listening to this and you've always thought about doing a podcast, I can't tell you how many times throughout this process I've heard, oh man, I've always wanted to do a podcast. Oh, that's awesome that you're doing it. Let me come on and talk. I'd love to talk on a podcast. Okay. If you're one of those people, let me help you. Help me help you. And that is, do your research. I did, and I was fortunate that I had a lot of people in my life, some that have already done podcasts, some who've already done vlogs, some who've owned businesses and done literal commercials on television, all the way through radio commercials to writing books. I have a plethora of people, and I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate to have those resources. Ask those people questions. Learn as much as you possibly can from those people who've gone before you. I didn't do enough research. I'm first to admit it. Here we go. I didn't do enough research. I thought there was a possibility. Hey, I talk for a living. I'm in sales. I host trivia. I can just get in front of a microphone and talk. It's that easy, right? That's what a podcast is. Boy, was I wrong. If you made it this far and you survived through our first week, you know that it's not easy. It's not as easy as just jumping on here, talking to you, and making you laugh or smile or probably get annoyed sometimes hearing my voice. But what I can tell you is that it's going to get better. It can only get better. That's how I look at it. You have to start somewhere. Again, take all the lines that you've heard, all the cheesiness that you can take right now, but it had to start somewhere. It did, and now here we are. We've made it a week. I'm not going to do a ton of these updates, but I wanted to do one today to thank you. If you've made it thus far, See, I even got to work on my own grammar. I think I said par se instead of per se once. We'll probably do a blooper episode at some point. Where I was going with it is you have suffered through me. I'm my biggest critic. Hopefully, you continue to suffer through me. I'm going to be the most self-deprecating, analytic person you're ever going to meet, and I'm always going to try to do better for you. I'm going to try to bring you topics that mean something to you. I'm going to try to talk about issues that are important to you. There are going to be a lot that are important to me as well. But I'm going to make sure that you, the listener, the watcher, the audience, is going to be involved. And that's my goal. That is a goal for us. That is the goal for 3BA. This first week and the plans for the first month even are just to get content to you that I think you will find relevant and again, entertaining on some level. My hope is that at the end of these episodes, long, short, in the middle, doesn't matter, you walk away with one nugget, one piece of information, one quote, one saying, one line, some cheese if you'd like, as I was just talking about, or somehow to make fun of me, and that is okay, because at least you're making fun of me, and you're smiling, and you're like, man, I can't believe you said that, or he said parse, or something along those lines, and I will enjoy that. I think you should enjoy that, and that's what we, us, they, I don't know what you want to say, are here to do at 3BA. Additionally, if you have any questions, if you have topics that you'd like to discuss, we're at the end of week number 1. I have sat down and brainstormed myself what I thought some topics could be. That outline is fluid. It always is. We want to hear from you. We know it's early. I know it's early. And, I'm going to be happy with whatever feedback we get. I'm open to it. You want to throw some comments up there? Go right ahead. We're gonna take it all into consideration. You can say, what do they say? Bad press. Any press is better than no press. Not that I'm looking to be in the press, but I think you get the idea. Any feedback is better than no feedback. Thank you. That's what this is. That's what this is ultimately for. This is a thank you for starting on this journey with us, starting this new path, this new podcast, this new vlog. Thank you for dealing with untimely edits and fixes and ums and ands and likes. I'm going to try to get rid of those. And mostly thank you for just being you. Positive reinforcement. That's what I'm going to try to do and bring back to you. Finally, I want to tell you that starting tomorrow on a new episode of the 3BA podcast, it's going to be our first, what do we call it? I don't want to call it a wild card. I'm going to work on that name, but it's going to be our first episode where anything goes. Whatever topic we want to discuss, we're going to bring it up. And I'm excited about it because I have a lot of other topics other than bourbon boners and being awesome that we can talk about. And I'm sure you want to talk about them too. And I'm excited for what the future holds. So again, from everybody at 3BA, it's been one heck of a week. Thank you. Stay awesome out there. Keep your boners, men's health, strong, and drink your bourbon how you like. I'm working on it. We're working on it. We're going to make it happen. And with that, have a great day. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time.